Hello and welcome back to David's Closet. On this channel we like to talk about handbags, accessories, and all of those fun things from the male point of view. So if that's something that's interesting to you, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow this channel, as I've said before, so I really appreciate you subscribing if you enjoy the content, sharing it with your friends if you think they would enjoy, all of the things. I would greatly appreciate it. So I am going to do this video, but real quick. That's better. I decided to move you closer. I gelled my hair yesterday and it's not looking great, and I have a zit and I look a hot mess, but I feel a hot mess, guys. So real quickly, this video is going to be kind of a just ranting video, so I apologize. I don't have anything really fun to show you, but I do want to talk about the concept of quiet luxury, loud luxury, and then a bag that I'm currently obsessed with that I said I would never ever own. I know. But before we get into the bulk of the video, I first want to say thank you for understanding that there was no video last week. On my filming day, I, of course, as you know, am a full-time real estate agent and a full-time corporate baddie. Okay, not really, but I do work in a corporate office full-time, and I also work as a real estate agent full-time, and I had an appraisal over my lunch hour, which is usually what I use to film. I work from home one day a week. I always use that one day lunch hour to film my video for the week, but because I had to go and do an appraisal or be present for an appraisal, all that fun stuff, I was not able to do so. Then this last week, Wednesday, the appraisal came in very low, and I spent all my lunch break dealing with that and obtaining comparables and sending those over to the lender, trying to understand where the appraiser got the comparables they used. They used the property in question is in a neighborhood where the average selling price is around $600,000, and they were using, $600,000, you know, 4 beds, 4 to 5 beds average. The subject property was a 4-bed, you know, 3,500 square feet, and they were using 3-bed, 1.5 bath, 1,900 square foot split level homes in another neighborhood about 2 miles away. And don't get me started. Bad appraiser. So of course I can't deal with that while I'm working. So I had to use my lunch hour to do that, which means I couldn't film again. So here I am on Saturday, the day before this video is supposed to go up, and I'm filming. It's also been a garage sale day. We've been out garage selling all day. That's also partially why I kind of look a mess. So I just wanted to put that out there. And just keep in mind that sometimes my videos may not be the most glamorous, but it is because I do two full-time jobs. So cross your fingers. I'm hoping today is Saturday. I'm hoping Monday or Tuesday to have that cleared up and get the value where we need it in order to move forward. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get my clients to talk to their lender about obtaining a new appraisal and trying again, because this appraiser is not good. Before we get started, we're going to do bag of the week. And the bag of the week last week was and it's not in here, it was my Fendi Boston, Forever Boston in the black Zucca print. Love it. I just changed yesterday or the day before into my Coach Ruby. I was just kind of feeling it. I do like to throw in some of my contemporary designs occasionally, because even though they're not as expensive as my Luxe designs, they're not cheap. So sharing the love of that right now. So let's get into this. First, we'll talk about what is quiet luxury, what is loud luxury. There's a lot of YouTubers talking about this right now, and I think it's a very interesting topic. So, of course, quiet luxury is more demure, not as boom in your face, I'm a luxury brand, and more subtle. Like Hermes is a great example. Everyone knows what an Hermes bag looks like, especially the Birkins, the Kellys, the Constance, the Garden Parties. But they're not blasted with Hermes logos. It's a very tasteful, you know, demure design. At a glance, you would just think, oh, that's a leather bag. Those who know. Those who don't know, don't know. And I think it's interesting because I've talked about it before on my channel, even before this topic came up. And then, of course, the idea of loud luxury is the LV print, the monogram print from Louis Vuitton, the monogram print from Tory Burch, the monogram print from Coach, of course, Michael Kors. The in-your-face, I'm a Louis Vuitton bag, I'm a Coach bag, I'm a Michael Kors bag, you know, bam, kind of. And they've both had their moments. They come and go by the season. I know I've always said that, for example, with Louis Vuitton, the damier print is my favorite. The Abine is my absolute favorite. I love the Azur too. I like it because it's not as in-your-face Louis Vuitton. And actually, for those who don't know the history of Louis Vuitton, the damier Abine print was actually the original print. I don't know if it was originally brown. I've read somewhere that it was more of like a gray-brown combination, but that checkerboard print with Louis Vuitton in a darker color was the original print. The LVs came much later. And then, of course, we all know Coach, known for their excellent leather, excellent craftsmanship, blew up in the 90s, 2000s with their CC Monogram Mania. And, of course, we also know that it was great for the brand, but it also was the demise because they took that, cheapened it, put it in their outlets at a much discounted price, and they overproduced bags. There was no form of exclusivity with their products. There was millions and millions of bags being pumped out of stores every single year. And, you were buying the high-end retail boutique bags and then the more affordably positioned outlet bags that were a very similar design. Of course, they all used the CC print, though the materials may be slightly different. At a glance, they looked the same, so it cheapened the brand, right? So Coach is the brand that I like because I feel like they are really going back to their roots with really great quality leather products. And, this is a great example of that. This is not a CC Monogram Mania. You can get it in a jacquard monogram print, and they still have plenty of Monogram Mania bags. But even in their outlet, and especially their boutique, leather is winning. These more demure bags that don't scream, I'm a Coach bag, but they have little hints, like the little twist lock here that's pretty iconic for Coach. Of course, hang tag, if you carry the hang tag, but this doesn't scream Coach, I'm a Coach bag, right? And we can even see this trend with other designers such as Louis Vuitton. I know it's been rumored, and anyone in the luxury handbag world knows that Louis Vuitton is in the process of making their canvas bags even harder to obtain, not manufacturing as many of them, limiting how you can purchase them. I read somewhere that they're not being sold online anymore. I know my essay told me it's kind of hard to get things shipped from the store now unless you go into the store and they happen to have it. They're trying to push their leather products. And, part of that, of course, is the price point. They can position those much higher because of the materials used, but also it kind of promotes that idea, again, of a more quiet luxury experience. Though a lot of the Louis Vuitton leather is the embossed or debossed empreinte leather, it's not in your face. It's a lot more demure. You can't really tell it's Louis Vuitton unless you know or you look at it a little bit more. And so a lot of brands are doing it. I've seen it a lot. And Prada is one brand. I'm looking at a Prada bag right now. I feel like they've always kind of been in the realm of quiet luxury. I don't see a lot of bags with Prada all over them. I'm sure they have. I know I've seen a few that are very in-your-face flashy in other ways to symbolize the brand. But every Prada bag I have, and most of them that you see, are very simple, gorgeous leather and a very tasteful single logo in the middle on the front that just says the Prada, or Prada, not the Prada. Givenchy is another one. I'm looking at my Givenchy bag. Very, very quiet luxury. And I like that because, again, it says Givenchy. It's very tasteful. Now, they do have a monogram print that I've seen on a few bags that they're doing. I'll try to throw a picture up here of that. But it's still demure. It's a monochromatic moment with a little bit different hues of black to create that look. So it's not in your face Givenchy. Like I said, Coach is doing it. I've even noticed a lot more leather products with single branding coming out of some of the outlets like Tory Burch, Michael Kors. Those brands are also kind of starting to enter the realm of, okay, we don't need our logo plastered everywhere. A brand that really also, in my opinion, kind of like Prada, hasn't really been known for like over blasting their logo is Chanel. For example, my GST, it does have the big giant CCs, but again, it's a monochromatic moment and it's not in your face Chanel. It's pretty demure. And even the classic flat bags, the CC turn lock, pretty demure, pretty small. Of course, if you know, you know. But I know a resurgence of the reissue bag has come out with the Mademoiselle lock, which is very tasteful and very small Chanel. It says Chanel at the very bottom of it, simple font. Again, you look at that bag, you think that's just a, aged looking leather flat bag. So how do I feel about it? Well, obviously, as I'm looking around and I'm thinking of my collection, majority of my collection, I think, would fall under the category of quiet luxury. And I know some people would argue that Coach shouldn't be included in this, but I am including them because they are a luxury designer in my mind. But I'm looking at my bags in my mind. And in my Coach collection, I have one monogram bag, which is my Pride Rowan satchel from the outlets a couple years ago. And that's just a special bag because it's Pride. And of course, being a gay man, I support Pride very much. And that's very important to me. So I love that bag. But I'm thinking about my collection, and most of my bags are leather or damier canvas from Louis Vuitton. Now, I do have monogram bags, and I will say, arguably, Louis Vuitton monogram is the one monogram mania item or material that is acceptable even in the world of quiet luxury. It will never go out of style because it is so iconic, and it's even more iconic than the original damier, which is kind of like mind-boggling to me. And it's mind-boggling to me too because a lot of people, for example with Coach, got a lot of criticism with their CC print because they overproduced it and it was seen as tacky to some people. And to me, Louis Vuitton is the same. It's a very iconic print. It's plastered everywhere. And I can see if you think the Coach CCs are tacky, how come the LVs aren't tacky? Is it because of the price point? And that's something you really got to think about, Is it because these bags are more affordable and they have, a less expensive material, the coated canvas or the jacquard, and it's just the logo? Is this less prestigious because it's Coach? And, this bag costs anywhere from, $150, to $500 max. Or, is this one better because it's LV and it's Monogram Mania? And it's, again, a cheaper material. It's promoting the brand. It's logo in your face. This is Louis Vuitton. Is it okay because it costs $2,000? In my opinion, I love what I love, and I contradict myself all the time with what I love, which is coming up soon. But if you had to ask my opinion, I love the idea and concept of quiet luxury because I don't like in-your-face, boom, I have Louis Vuitton. Because A, I don't ever want to make people feel like I think I'm better, or I think they're worse, or they're below, because they're carrying around a bag that's not Louis Vuitton, Prada, Coach, for example, or even people carrying Coach think that their bags aren't as good as Louis Vuitton. I don't like that. That's not how I roll. And also, as a male carrying a bag, I already kind of have a spotlight on me, like, hey, look at me, I'm doing something different against the social norm, the constructs that we've built in this world. So I do like something a little bit more demure, just because it kind of tones that down a little bit in my mind. Monogram from Louis Vuitton is the only exception to that, and it's not because the price point to me, it's simply because I love the bags, and I do love the material. I know Totes Jean did a video recently where he kind of talked about his, I think it was a collab he did with his 5 favorite canvas bags, and I'll link his video below. And I like what he said. He likes canvas bags because it uses less animal product, and as an animal lover, I never really thought about it, and it's horrible to say, but I like that. So, maybe subconsciously, a lot of my bags are canvas. I would say I have more leather bags, but a good chunk of them are canvas. And, maybe in the back of my mind, and of course moving forward now that it's been brought to my attention and I'm kind of aware of it, I like the idea of not using as much animal product. So that's one of the reasons I think I like it. And, some bags you just can't get in another print. Most bags, if I have the option to purchase it in a damier ebene print, I will. Because I think the leather is better because it's carefree, it's the coated treated leather. And I like the dark brown. If it scuffs, it's not as noticeable. And again, it's not as in your face with LV. But not all bags come in it. And the bags that I have, I'm running a thing of all the bags I have in monogram right now from Louis Vuitton, and majority of them I can only get in monogram. So that would probably be why. But overall, I do love the idea and concept of quiet luxury. So with that being said, I am looking at a Chanel jumbo or maxi flat bag. Guys, I'm obsessed with it and I have to have it. So that's what I'm currently obsessed with. I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail right now. It could be a moment before I find one because they're very expensive. On the cheap end, pre-loved, they're about $4,000. you know, of course, up to $12,000, $16,000, $20,000. Ideally, I'd like I want caviar leather, and I want it black with silver hardware or navy blue with silver hardware. I did find one. It was lambskin, and it was an igloo bag. They call it like the igloo something, and if I can find a picture of it, I'll post it. I should have bought it. It was brand new condition. It still had protective coverings. It came with the box, the tags, the receipt, everything, full set, and it was only $2,100. And size-wise, it was roughly the same size as a Chanel jumbo flap. So to me, it almost looked like Chanel made this bag in a little bit different of a print for the leather. The quilting wasn't your typical diamond quilting or the chevron that they do. It was an igloo style, and it was very unique. And it had the Mademoiselle lock, which, again, speaking of quiet luxury, I loved. And I sat on it, and I didn't get it, and it sold. So I'm heartbroken over that. But that just means it wasn't meant to be, and maybe because it wasn't 100% of what I wanted, it was only about 80%, and it was just a really, really good deal for what it was. It was basically a jumbo classic flap for $2,100, brand new. Maybe I wouldn't have loved it as much, and, you know, I'd rather spend a little more money, a lot more money, and get something that I know I love. I've made sacrifices before on bags, and I usually end up regretting it. Speaking of that, I'm also now considering the Tory Burch Kira, which I have literally returned and or sold every Tory Burch bag I've ever had. So I think that's a horrible idea. Even though it's a lot cheaper than a Chanel, it's still going to cost me about $500 if I can't find it pre-loved, probably $250 if I can. So is it worth it? I don't think so. But again, it's a great example of quiet luxury. The Tory Burch logo is simple. It's not monogram mania. But should I do it? Follow along and see what happens, because I need a big flap bag because I'm obsessed. So I hope you found this video interesting. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you're not, please, please, please consider. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps support my channel, and I really, really appreciate it. Share this video with your friends, and let me know your thoughts below on the quiet luxury. Let me know if you think of any difference, or people kind of conceive the monogram from the, you know, more affordable brands to the monogram from like Louis Vuitton. You know, do people think of them differently just because of the price point? Is there more to the story? I'd love to know. And I'd also love to know your thoughts on a Chanel classic flap in the jumbo size, or like Tory Burch Fleming. Never even thought about buying this bag until I bought that nylon Coach bag that I absolutely love, and that's about the size, like capacity wise, that a flat bag would have in the max or jumbo size. Guys, it's a mess, but let me know. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.